Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady, where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. So today I want to focus on independent contractor forms, specifically the 1099K and the 1099 miscellaneous. Those are the two biggest forms that cause the biggest headaches and folks get in the most trouble. Okay? So first, let's start with the 1099 miscellaneous. I have one here so I can make sure I go through everything that's on this form. All right. So the 1099 miscellaneous, if you receive payments as an independent contractor of $600 or more, then you will receive a 1099 miscellaneous. It will have a 1099-MISC. That is what the form looks like. And so it covers, if you have a rental property, you'll get a 1099 miscellaneous if you had rent payments of over $600. I really hope you do. I'm just saying. All right. Royalties is, patented copyright kind of stuff where you're basically like your name. So for me, book sales, right? So you get royalties. You get non-employee compensation. That's the biggest one, box 7. That's the thing that most people see. Okay. So when you get the 1099 miscellaneous, understand that it gets reported to the IRS as well. A lot of times people think that you get this 1099 in the mail and it's just for your information. No, the IRS gets a copy of this as well. So when you get this 1099 miscellaneous, you have to report this income. Okay. Now let me back up and say this. Taxations 1:1 says thou shalt report all your income. Okay. You are required to report your income. I don't care if you don't get the 1099 miscellaneous, the 1099K. I don't care if you don't get the form, whatever. You are required to report all your income. And if you have self-employment income, if you make over $400 in profit, then you are subject to self-employment tax. Okay. So you still have to report all your income. Okay. That is the law. So the 1099 miscellaneous is for $600 or more. Then there is the 1099K. The 1099K is issued by third-party payers. We're talking about your PayPal, your Stripes, Uber, and Lyft. Sometimes they go back and forth. Okay. Like last time I checked, one was claiming they were issuing 1099 miscellaneouses. The other ones were 1099Ks, whatever. Credit card companies are also, 1099K issuers. Okay. So what that means is, in order for you to get a 1099K, you have to cross two thresholds. There is 200 transactions and $20,000. Both of those thresholds have to be crossed. So for instance, if you do, let's say 100 transactions and $20,000, then you're probably not going to get a 1099K. If you have 200 transactions and $10,000, you probably won't get a 1099K. Again, hear me clearly that even if you don't get the form, you still have to report your income. But it's important for you to understand how this reporting works, because these documents are waiting for you at the IRS. If you get it in your mailbox, it is waiting, or your email or whatever. Okay, don't get caught up in semantics. If you get a copy, the IRS also has a copy. And what happens is that the IRS has automated matching. So they have this form from the company, whatever company it is, that says, they're saying, okay, we paid Jack, $20,000. All right. And so the IRS is waiting for you to file this 1099 miscellaneous so they can match that up. Okay, great. Everybody's reported everything. Everything is hunky dory. Go on about your business. But it's when that reporting does not happen, that's when the IRS comes for you. And we have actually a lot of young people, generally in the millennials, okay, that we're seeing tax trouble with, at least in my audience, that are getting into tax trouble because they're not reporting this income, because for whatever reason, they didn't know or whatever, but that's the way it is. And so the IRS does not take "I didn't know" as an excuse. Okay. So underreporting penalties, failure to, it can get ugly with the penalties, and it goes, from the time that it was due up until when you pay it off. Okay. So if the IRS goes back and says, okay, you had a $700 1099 miscellaneous that you didn't report in 2015, you're going to have to pay penalties and interest starting from 2015, and they got 10 years to collect. So you have to understand that these are important papers that need to be reported. Now, with that, you can subtract the expenses that go along with it. So if you are a contractor and you made, $800 and you've got $300 worth of expenses that were involved with that, then you can deduct those expenses and pay taxes on what's left. But this is why, listen, you want to do this up front, because when you go on the back end, again, it's the penalties and interest that are really going to get you, and not just the tax bill. All right. Now, on the issuing side, generally with, most, business owners hire independent contractors, and you're paying you're paying them, and you have to issue a 1099. Now, the one thing that I have to caution my business owners, if you're going to be dealing with contractors, get your W-9 up front. Now, there are instances where you don't need a W-9. If the person is incorporated, you don't need to get a W-9. You're writing that, you're paying that expense to their business. But if you have question or if you have doubt, get the W-9, okay? Because you want to cover yourself. Now, if you're paying via third party, like if you're paying with a credit card or something like that, you don't have to issue the 1099 miscellaneous. Now, so let me give you a couple of situations, okay? Let's say I got my girl Deetra on here. So Deetra hires me. Let's just pretend that I am a graphic artist. And believe me, you have to pretend, because Lysandra does not do graphics at all. Okay. So we really got to use our imagination here. But Deetra hires me to do some graphics, and she's paying me $1,000. Now, if she writes me a check for $1,000 and it's just to Lysandra, then she has to issue a 1099. Okay. But now if I've got Lysandra's Creation Incorporated and she sends me a check for $1,000, she does not have to issue a 1099. Okay. So I hope that makes sense to you, to understand that there are specific instances where you do have to issue the 1099 and specific instances where you don't have the 1099. Okay. So, but at the end of the day, when in doubt, issue the 1099. And the reason is there's no penalty if you over issue a 1099, right? There's no penalty if you issue a 1099 and you didn't need to. However, the penalty for not issuing a 1099, that can get steep, you guys. We're talking like into the thousands of dollars and no limit if if the IRS finds that you were negligent. Okay. Now, if you are, and especially with my online squad, listen, we are a global economy. There are those of us that have virtual assistants that live in other countries. Now, if you're going through, a site like Upwork, or if you're using Fiverr or something like that, you don't have to issue a 1099 in those cases, because those companies actually pay their, the contractors that are on the site. Okay. But if you move into a one-on-one relationship, then you have to be careful, because one of the things that you're going to need, and this is why you paid me, right? Yeah, ain't nobody paid me for this right here, but this is going to save you. Okay. So if you have like a virtual assistant in another country that you're dealing with one-on-one, you need to make sure to get a W-8-BEN. Okay. You need that, because there are countries that have tax treaties with us, and there are countries that do not. It is your job as a business owner to know who you're dealing with. Okay. And so it's like, if you don't know about tax treaties, you need to hire a tax professional. Okay. So what this form does is then this is the foreign equivalent of a W-9. So, and I mean, we've even had the issues of where there were network marketing companies that were started in other countries that have come, that have people here in the U.S. And, when they pay the people in the U.S., they withhold taxes because they're not a part of the whole tax treaty thing. Like, that's how it works. You know what I mean? So when it comes down to receiving the 1099, again, it doesn't matter if you get the form or not. The income is reportable, and if you get found out that you don't report it, the penalties and interest are ugly. The 1099 miscellaneous and the 1099K. If you are one issuing these things, okay, you're not a third party payer, more than likely, so you don't have to worry about a 1099K. 1099 miscellaneous. If you're dealing one-on-one with someone, hiring them as an independent contractor, they don't have a business entity or a business setup at all. It's just them. And in the gig economy, you guys, this is where we are. In the gig economy, side hustle economy, a lot of people are just themselves, right? That's what it is. So when you're dealing one-on-one with somebody, like if you hire somebody to walk your dog and it's just Joe down the street and you pay Joe over $600, yeah, you got to issue Joe a 1099. But if you pay a dog walking company that hires people to work for them, then you don't have to issue a 1099 to the company, okay? But when in doubt, get the W-9 and issue the 1099, okay? Listen, stay safe. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, you guys. So I really hope this gives you some food for thought, because we're still, at the time of this recording, we're still at the beginning of tax season. There are people that are still getting their forms. January 31st is the deadline. So by January 31st, you should have the 1099 miscellaneous, the 1099Ks, your 1098s from your mortgage company, your 1098T from academic institutions, your W-2s, all the 1099Rs, all those laundry lists of forms that you could possibly have. You should have them by the end of January in order for you to file your taxes, okay? And then, don't wait all day to file your taxes, because with this shutdown thing, y'all, who knows, okay? And especially for my business owners, again, business owners, you should be ready to file your taxes by February. And the reason is because if you've been keeping up with your books, then you should be done with closing out everything for December of last year, and you should be ready to file your taxes. Okay, please do not wait until April 15th to file your taxes. And April 14th, you having a stroke. And then like last year, I had somebody reach out to me at 10 o'clock saying, hey, can you file my taxes now? Let me remind you of all the other 100 days or so that you had to file your taxes, okay? So listen, that's it for me, you guys. Have a great day. And remember, we are here Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish, and you can come here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes, all right? Have a great day. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.